Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girlz is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae Girlz out there. They ain't believe in us. John did. Reggae Girlz, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're going to be great out there. World Cup. Sadella Marley, nothing but love. Bless up from DJ Cal.
And I represent for the Reggae Girlz. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sidela, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae Girlz do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica supporting it every time. You know the thing go.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I feel like I'm from UK, you know.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
My Talawers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. Happy Friday, guys. I hope that you are home and dry. And if you are making your way home from work or any personal activities, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed, because walking through your doors is an underrated blessing. Well, guys, we have a jam-packed show for you tonight. I've tried to keep it fun because it is a Friday and we're just, going off into the weekend. I'm sure some of you have already let your hair down, as you should. It's probably been a challenging week. So, take some time for yourself and your family. Put you first. Do whatever it takes to make you happy. I don't know what you guys do. Play some football, play some sports, have a glass of wine. I don't know. Whatever makes you happy, make sure that you get into a habit of doing that. All right. So tonight, like I said, I've tried to make it as fun as possible. But before I forget my manners, I do want to apologize for not being able to give you a show. I think it was Wednesday. I was supposed to give you guys a show on Wednesday. And in case you haven't been keeping your eyes on my community section over on YouTube, basically, I was at my brother's house on Wednesday and I pretty much left out in a rush, and I was rushing. I had like several bags in my hand, and I, in my mind, picked up my laptop bag because I was like, okay, yes, when I get there, I'm going to do some live streaming, keep you guys updated with everything. And I got there and I was like very relaxed. I was like, okay, let me, stuff my face. Let me make sure that I'm in a good mood to speak with you guys. And I only realized that I don't have my Mac next to me when he started doing his editing, and he's like something about his Mac. And I just shouted like, my Mac. And I was just like, where is my Mac? And I started to panic, but I was fairly convinced that it was at home. So I'm like, did I leave it in an Uber? Did I leave it at home? Thankfully, I just left it at home. So I do apologize. That is my reason for not speaking with you guys on Wednesday. And my Mac is right here in front of me. So thank God I don't have to pay for a brand new Mac, because I'm not really sure how I would afford that, because it does cost an arm and a leg, as you would expect with all things Apple. So there goes my reason for not giving you guys a midweek show. But I'm back tonight, well rested, and I'm about to get things started. Let me see what you guys are saying there in the comment section. Hair by Simone. I think you're new to my channel, but big up yourself, Simone. I don't have a lot of like female following, which is very disappointing. Not sure why that is, but it's quite disappointing. But big up yourself. I think, like I said, I think you're new to my channel, but apologies if you're not. Hopefully tonight won't be the loss. Mr. Errol, I think Errol looks pretty new to my channel as well. Big up yourself, Errol. Owen, big up yourself, Owen. A name so nice, we have to say it twice. DC, big up yourself in the comments section as well. Apple is overrated. Hey, you said it, not me. Man of God, big up yourself, man of God. Guys in the comments section, and those of you who are silently watching, I do hope that you are all in good health. So where do we get started, guys? I know that you guys do love your football, all things football, especially club football. I very rarely talk about club football unless it's somehow in relation to the Reggae Boys or the Reggae Girls, right? So I think given that today was the big Champions League draw, it's only right that we talk about some Champions League and also the fan favorite, the poster boy, Mr. Leon Bailey. I'm going to be looking at how things might pan out for Leon Bailey in the Champions League alongside Aston Villa. But before I ramble on, let me go ahead and bring out my special guest. And it is a face that is very much familiar to you guys there in the comment section. And to those of you who are silently watching, Mr. Lee, you're pretty much a permanent resident over on the channel. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Happy Friday evening, folks. I'm off work, so I have to jump on it with you, you know. Big up Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club. Big up all the members. Owen. Man of God, you have to recite a verse later, you know, all right? And everybody just, you know, big up. As you all see the thumbnail, Leon Bailey named upon it. Enough people start sending me messages already. And even know what we are going to talk about, right? Our Liverpool fans are send this and send that, right? But we're going to have a good show tonight.
Give me a little insight into what they're saying. I mean, they should just come on the show and, you know,
yeah,
share.
man. Come on, man. Right?
Yeah?
But the female that you just talk about, it's a pleasure to have you. Don't know if you knew, but please keep on coming. Make sure you're subscribe and share, all right? Because we need more female in the space to express yourself. You know, it's dominated by a whole bunch of females and a crystal alone. I'm sorry, a whole bunch of male and a crystal alone. We need your baby girl, all right? Enough respect. All right, Crystal, go ahead.
Definitely. So let's just dive right into it. Conrad, pick up yourself, Conrad. I hope you are in good health. Right, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to keep the title, one of many titles that we have on tonight's show. We're going to be touching on maybe a sport that you guys haven't discussed with myself or I haven't discussed with you guys, but I think it is a intriguing topic. And I want to ask you guys in the comment section, if you could implement a policy for the Jamaica Football Federation, what would it be? Right, guys? That is a question. We're gonna touch on that, right? At some point in the show, we're going to be looking at a very important question that I want to ask you guys. So again,
hold the answer for later.
Yeah, give that some thought, because it's a question that I ask myself, and even to this point, I'm still trying to find a answer. I'm still trying to think, what policy would I implement with the JFF if I had the chance to? So there you go, guys. What policy would you introduce at the JFF? Let me know in the comment section, all right? But before we get there, let's go back and talk about some Champions League stuff. I know that you guys are working men and women, and I also know some of you are students. Pick up all the students out there. I hope you're doing well in school. And if you're having a little bit of a wobble, don't worry. It happens to the best of us. I hope that. But by the time your final semester comes, I hope that you get the grade that you deserve. Okay, right. So let's just go right into it and look at some Champions League. The round of 16 for the Champions League. Let's go ahead and look at the draw and give you guys a gentle reminder of how things have panned out. You probably can't see this one on your screen because it is fairly quite small on my screen, but don't worry, I've got you covered. So again, we're looking at the round of 16, guys. And subsequently, pending that all goes according to plan for your respective clubs, it would mean that you move on to the quarterfinals. For the quarterfinals, you would move on to the semifinals before the big showdown. And it says Road to Munich 2025. Right. So top, and it isn't to do with favoritism. It's just because they are literally at the top on my left. So I'm starting off from the left, my left to the right. All right. So no favoritism. So round of 16, we have PSV versus Arsenal. We have a Madrid Derby. So that is the giants of the Champions League. They'll be taking on Atletico Madrid. PSG are set to take on another giant in the Champions League, that be it Liverpool. Club Bruges and Mr. Leon Bailey, they have a date in their calendar alongside Aston Villa as well. And we also have Benfica taking on Barcelona, Dortmund taking on Lille. We have crunch time with a Bundesliga clash. That is Bayern Munich taking on Bayer Leverkusen. We also have Feyenoord versus Inter Milan. How are you feeling about the Champions League draw?
I think it's a good draw. It's a great draw. I can tell you right now, fireworks and controversy with the Madrid Derby. Expect that right now. Fireworks and controversy. Okay, I'm telling you. So that's a good one. The next one too is the Bundesliga games. That's gonna be tough. Bayer Leverkusen is on fire, and Bayern Munich is in form right now. Those are gonna be two good games. The Liverpool game too is gonna be good, right? But the matchup that I think that you really want to talk about is the following round when Liverpool and Bailey meets up with a certain team. I'm sorry. Well, Bailey meet up with a certain team later on. But do you want to do the scores going down, or you just want to just talk about other teams?
Go ahead and unmute myself. I mean, if you want to talk about the scores, you're more than welcome to. If you want me to go ahead and repeat those fixtures there, because I got
the fixtures here.
Yeah, so how do you want to start this? You want to look at PSV versus Arsenal?
Yes, start with that one.
All right, so PSV versus Arsenal. How do you see that one panning out?
I see that one. To be honest with you, Arsenal is a good team, but they're unpredictable. Sometimes you don't know which Arsenal team they get. Arsenal fans, don't beat me up, don't get mad. But I expect them to get the job done. I do. It's not going to be easy, but I think Arsenal is going to win at home and have a tie away or lose away and still win. It's not going to be easy. What's your thought?
For those of you there, before I continue, before I add to what you've said, for those of you who are wondering, these fixtures are will be kickstarting very soon. As of Tuesday, March the 4th, that is when we've got the first leg of these fixtures. And after that, we are looking at the 11th of March for the second leg. All right, so
that's
that is
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's also, this is crunch time. This is where it starts to get a little bit tense. The exciting round of the Champions League. PSV, bit of a tricky one here. I definitely agree with you that Arsenal definitely unpredictable. You don't really know what to expect from them. It's a fixture that probably as things stand, it probably favors PSV. You can't really bypass the injury crisis at Arsenal at the moment. The fact that they've had to pretty much go in for a last-ditch solution and turn to Mikel Merino as their forward. Yes, it did work, but is that something that they could rely on for the duration of the season, pending that they do have some pivotal games coming up, both in the Premier League as well as the Champions League? Only time will tell. So it is a fixture that's going to be difficult for them, especially if they don't have their star boy back in contention, that be it Bukayo Saka and also Martinelli as well. I know Martinelli has had an underwhelming season, I believe. I think it's been very underwhelming. But I'm sure, you know, Arsenal fans would be having their eyes peeled for him to return. Definitely be interesting to see what happens when Bukayo Saka has returned in
How
terms
long
of
is he gonna be out for?
he should be, well, he's back in training, so he should be back within the next few weeks or so, as should Martinelli. But again, saying what I was saying with Bukayo Saka, it's going to be an interesting one, you know, pertaining to what will happen with Ethan Nwaneri. Does that mean that he then goes to the bench and Saka takes his position, returns to his position, as to say, in the starting 11, or with Martinelli still again having an underwhelming season, is Mikel Arteta potentially going to risk it and say, okay, Saka on the left, Ethan on the right, type of thing, you know? So that's probably something that is being discussed behind the scenes. But I agree with you. I think again, pending that, you know, they get a couple of these players back in time, I think they should be able to handle business against PSV.
Yeah, well, they're just not. It's not going to be easy for them, but they should get the job done.
Yeah, continue, Mr. Lee. 1 second. I'm just gonna sort out my background because it's driving me mad. But
Yeah.
continue, okay?
Yeah, I think Arsenal is going to get the job done, but as we all know, Arsenal is unpredictable, right? It's a team that always leave it late, but I hope that, you know, for the Gunners fans, that they put this one away early. And if they get Saka back, if they need him in this, I'm not sure if, you know what I mean, that they actually need him. I think they should actually, if they don't need him, just hold him for the next round. You know what I mean? He just come back, not sure if they're going to play him yet. But Arsenal should get this job done. All right. Are you back?
Yes, sir, I'm back.
All righty. You want to move on to the next one?
So you're saying Arsenal to win
So
that one, yeah?
here's my prediction. They win at home and they tie away or lose away, but still get the job done.
So you think you're saying that they're going to win on aggregate?
Yes, they're going to win an aggregate. You know, because I'm telling you, PSV is not easy at home.
They're not easy.
Arsenal,
they're not easy
Arsenal
at all.
can be unpredictable, very unpredictable.
Yeah. They're not easy. I mean, slightly different position last time Arsenal played them, getting the job done, drawing 1-1 at home. Away from home, as in at PSV's home, and then beating them 4-0. That was back 2023. So much has changed since then, and as I said, you can't avoid the obvious injury crisis there with Arsenal. But moving on, what do you make of the Madrid Derby? First of all, did you watch that City game, Madrid versus City?
Yes, I watched it. And let me say this.
Kylian Mbappe.
Yes, he's back. As I said, give him some time and he gets himself together. I've been a Real Madrid fan since 1998. No, since 2000. No, I'm sorry, 1999. And I was with the team until about 2011 when I stopped because of something that the current president said, which as a black man did not sit well with me. I'm not going to repeat it here. And I used to buy their jerseys and everything. And because of my blackness, I just couldn't support them anymore. So let's leave it as that. But, however, these two teams, they don't like each other. This is a Madrid Derby. It's always something. Fighting, there's accusing the referee of this, accusing the referee of that. But I tell you this, it's going to be fireworks. Fireworks. I expect Madrid to win because of it's like, when you say Champions League, it's their middle name. When you say Champions League, it's Madrid there. You see what I mean? And I think that they're going to get the job done. But look for a lot of controversy. Look for a lot of fist fights and dirtiness on the field. Even the coach is going to go at each other. Watch. It's the history of these two teams. It never failed to spark. Never.
You know, I would like to think that it's going to be a straightforward just like you said, there's going to be some controversy. It's a derby at the end of the day. It's one of the arguably the biggest derby in world football. So you are expecting controversy, and you know, this is aside from the World Cup, this is football's biggest competition. So you are expecting people to throw the sink at each other, probably on and off the field of play. But as I said, I don't think this one's going to be as straightforward as some might think it is, because what La Liga at the moment is pretty tight at the top in the Liga, isn't it? There's like 1 point separating the top 3 teams in the Liga. Barcelona on 51 points, as is Real Madrid, with Atletico Madrid just behind them on 50. And they've had some quite convincing performances. If we look at a few performances there in the league, dating back to February 8th, that one ended 1-1 with Alvarez opening the scoring before, I guess you can call him Mr. Inevitable, especially after his Champions League performance against Manchester City. Kylian Mbappe found in the back of the net inside the 50th minute. And back in September, that one also ended 1-1, and it was Atletico Madrid that came back at the death inside the 90+ minutes. Also, let's remind ourselves of the result from the Copa del Rey, where Atletico Madrid defeated Real Madrid 4-2. So I don't think this one's going to be a straightforward match, as many might think it is. But before I continue, I do have to stick a pin in it, because I do have another lovely guest that's in my studio, and I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with his face and with his name. I think I'm getting a playback there, Mr. Lee. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kranky, how are you, sir?
No volume. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. How are you?
Can't hear
Big
you.
up, Sir Crank.
Give me a minute.
He's just gonna sort his way out, sort himself out there, guys.
No volume.
So, as I said, I do not think this is going to be a straightforward result. You know what? I feel like I want to go against the I feel like I want to go against the grain, and
I can't hear. I don't know what's wrong with my system. My system is not working. Let me go out and come back in.
Okay. Then.
All right.
So, guys, I feel like I want to go against the grain with this one. I feel like I'm gonna go with a Atletico Madrid win. I would love an upset in the
wow.
I mean,
goal, Crystal. Me back foot.
As I said, if you look at
the tears, that one you bull. That one you bull.
Thing is, I don't think it is a bold prediction, though. I know that Real Madrid are the kings of the Champions League. I'm pretty aware of that, but I'm just talking about things that we can see between these two clubs over the last string of games. And at the end of the day, these are knockout competition. Like, you can get hit, and if you get hit, sometimes you just have to stay down. I'm gonna go with a little bit of a upset in the Champions League, and I'm gonna go with Atletico Madrid on this one. Who are you going with?
I told you I'm going with Real, because Real is Champions League is like medicine for them. It's like something in Champions League that get them going, and they don't want to lose to Atletico. And neither one wants to lose to each other. And it's gonna be a tough game, but I think the history is gonna carry them through, just to have a little bit more quality. But don't let that fool you. Whenever these two teams go at it, it's heaven versus hell. They don't hold back. They go hard. Because they don't want to lose to each other. They can't stand each other. It's hard, yeah. It's the city rivals. They have a history, and you know what I mean. Your Diego Simeone and the Madrid fans. They don't. Oh my God, they have history. It is crazy. It is crazy.
It's going to be fireworks. So I think I like the fact that we've gone with backing either team there. So I think we can leave that one at that with the derby. PSG versus the Reds, Liverpool. How are you feeling about that one?
This is not going to be an easy game also. Dembele is in form. But I think the and then again, PSG coach is Luis Enrique. He's no joke. Experience, they just renewed his contract also, right? I'm going with Liverpool just for the sake of Mo Salah, and they can get, I mean, just experience, right? But it's not, it is not gonna be easy. I'm telling you right now. But I'm going with Liverpool. I'm going with Liverpool to win at home and get a draw away, or even lose away and still get the job done. Because just like I said, Arsenal, they should have a cushion at home. Or here's what: try to catch PSG on the counter. You get what I mean? Try to catch them on the counter. Because when PSG attack with all these guys, right? And the thing that Mo Salah and them is good at is the counter. I think that's going to play into Liverpool's game. And that's going to give them the edge. What say you?
Do you know what? It is so funny that PSG at the moment, so what? 22 matches played in League One at the moment. And they're currently unbeaten. I know some people don't respect the top tier of French football. They call it Farmers League, whatever you want to call it, but there's something about this PSG team where it is so funny that I don't know how you feel about this, but it's so funny that without those, and I know obviously I'm not saying that he's not a star. Dembele is standing up and grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and so on, but it's so funny that without the very best players in their team, they're now looking good in the Champions League, whereas previous years when they had all their Avengers together, people will probably look at them and saying to themselves, nah, you're not going to go far. Make of that what you will. Actually, what do you make of that? The fact that they're looking good in the Champions League. Who knows, they could go.
I tell you what, they have nothing to prove now. Nothing to prove, right?
Ooh,
and so the pressure is off everybody. Now everybody wants to beat them, because remember, everybody wants to beat that star-studded team, right? If you can remember the Galactico, everybody wants to beat them. You know who that is, right?
Yeah,
Real Madrid, Galactico with Zidane, Ronaldo, the original, you know what I mean? The whole David Beckham, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Everybody want to whoop their ass, right? And so that was the same thing with the Messi, Neymar, and they want to whoop their ass.
Yeah.
This team now has less pressure on with a very good coach, Luis Enrique.
All right, guys. So just give Mr. Lee a moment there to come back and finish off what he was saying. Just let me just turn my attention to the comment section. Nelly JC, God bless. Pick up yourself there. I hope you are well. I hope you're good. We all know who he supports. Pick up yourself. He says LFC live for the Champions League. Absolutely. Back over to yourself, Mr. Lee. What was you saying?
Yeah, so back to what I was saying, when everybody wants to beat the star-studded team, right? You have Messi, all these guys playing. People want to whoop their ass. They're not there now, so it's less pressure on them, right? Yeah. And Luis Enrique is very experienced. They just reward him with a new contract. So, just like I said, this is not going to be a walkover. It's not going to be a walkover, right? But just look for a good game. Who knows? But it may come down to who wants it more. It may come down to what you do at home versus what you do away. But the pressure is not so much in PSG. They don't have to prove anything. They don't. And I think that actually shows too, because I think they in a growing stage. Even though they have a bunch of star players still, they're in a growing stage. And look, they just reward the coach with another 2 years because they like what he's doing. They like what he's doing. So even if he loses this, there's no pressure on him. And that's very dangerous, Crystal, when you don't have no pressure on you. You understand what I mean? You don't have the owners. Huh?
Do you think, I'm sorry to interject with what you said. Actually, no, continue.
I'm just saying though, sometimes you as a coach, you have the owners breathing down your neck and there's so much pressure on you, right? You make mistakes and blah blah blah. But with easy, when it's not that much pressure on you, I said they just awarded him with a new contract. Things probably go either way. There's no pressure on him. There's no pressure on the players. Liverpool, I mean, the other team would more be under pressure, right? So less pressure on them could go, you know what I mean? I mean, it could go the other way. None of these games so far is easy.
None of them, and that's what I love. It shouldn't be easy. None of these games should be easy because you're essentially the Champions League is where you're supposed to be playing the best of the best across Europe. Let me know in the comment section who you guys think will win this one, PSG or Liverpool. I think again, let's remind ourselves, PSG currently sitting at the top of at the top of their table. They are currently unbeaten with 22 matches played. Liverpool sits at the top of the Premier League, but they also have some crunch time as we cool off on the business end of the season. They have a massive clash on Sunday against Manchester City. Manchester City are a bit like wounded dogs at the moment, having been booted out of the
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, sir. Being booted out of the Champions League by Kylian Mbappe. So to kind of paint a picture of how this one could pan out for Liverpool. Liverpool, like I said, have Manchester City on Sunday. They also have a game against Newcastle, and then after Newcastle, they have PSG. So those are two must-win games. There, pretty much every single game between now and the end of the season, especially in the Premier League, is a must-win game.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go on.
Miss Simone, what's your local football team, if you don't mind telling us? Hereby, Simone, what's your local football team? All right, go ahead, Crystal.
So yeah, as I was saying, I'm not sure if you caught wind of what I was saying. So for Manchester City's Liverpool's next game before they play PSG, they have Manchester City on Sunday, and then subsequently they play Newcastle United before going over to PSG for the first leg. I don't know if that can kind of paint a picture of what we're up against. Manchester City, having been knocked down by Kylian Mbappe, they surely have to beat Liverpool on Sunday. Easier said than done. They're not the same team as last year, and context is key. They've been doing this for 4+ years. So it was going to get to a point where they need a rest. They can't. All good things must come to an end at some point, right? And they also have Newcastle, I'm sure they want to finish as highly as possible. That's another big clash for them. Newcastle were on the back end of a 4-0 hammering by Manchester City. They're going to want to be turning things around in the next few games. So that be it Nottingham Forest, another high-flying team in the Premier League, before the big showdown against Liverpool. So who are you going with to win this one? Are you going with Liverpool or are you going with PSG? I'm
going with Liverpool. The experience will carry them, and again, they're gonna have to get the job done at home. The next factor I see is the way Liverpool plays. They play on the counter, right? The way PSG play, they play with the stars coming at you. And I'm telling you, that ball comes up to Mo Salah and he takes off. It's gonna play into their hands. So that's gonna be a game of cat and mouse. But I give Liverpool the edge. But mark this: the team that wins at home needs to win big. That's the strategy. You gotta win big at home.
I think you're definitely onto something there. So PSG obviously no longer can rely on the brilliance of Kylian
Big up
Mbappe,
Isa Allen,
the president.
Mr. President, big up yourself.
Big up yourself, Isa. So as I was saying, they don't have the brilliance of Kylian Mbappe to rely on, but they do have a new poster boy, a new gunman that they can rely on, and that is Dembele. It'd be interesting to see how that one pans out. I'm all for upsets in this Champions League, but I think you're right. I think it all depends on how this first leg goes. I think if it ends in a draw, with PSG playing at home first, and I think I could see Liverpool going on to be. So I think it all depends. And with Brest, people are thinking it's only Brest. They put 7 past Brest. So again, all depends. 7 different goal scorers, so to speak. So it all depends on how this one pans out. I think, as you said, in the first leg. The other game there to look at is one that features our boy, that is Mr. Leon Bailey, Club Brugge, taking on Aston Villa. What's your thoughts on that one?
This should be with the coach that Aston Villa has. I love this coach. A lot of people didn't know that this coach was actually the coach that was going to coach Spain in the Russia World Cup. But because of some controversy that he took the job for Real Madrid and they didn't know, they found out that a week before the World Cup, and the players that was selected, it created a big controversy. So he's a big coach, right? I think Aston Villa is going to get this job done comfortably.
Comfortably?
Well, that's a comfortable at least by a 2 goal, right? And I think Aston Villa players can get this job done with the coach they have, and with the inclusion of Marcus Rashford, it gives defenders something to think about with his speed, right? So that's something that give them an edge. Now, no game is gonna be easy, but what I like is the you notice every time I talk about is the coaches, the experience that these coaches has, right? It makes a difference. And Aston Villa coach, when you say Emery, whatever his name is, you have to give credit to him for finishing the top 4, for kicking Man City ass, kicking all the top teams' ass, and he's still doing good. So yeah, you have to give it to him.
I think you're right. Like Unai Emery is. I think obviously we've seen what he's done in the Europa League, winning trophies in the Europa League. A lot of people do have him down as the, what do you want to call it, as a cup competition manager.
Yeah.
Saying that again because of his stuff that he's done across Europa League, that they do believe that in cup competitions, you can almost back him to perform well. Obviously, obviously we know how his story panned out with Arsenal and, subsequently having to leave. But I think context is key with everything. I think, perhaps he was the right man at the wrong time for Arsenal. And we're not going to get into that because it's not an Arsenal show. But, we're not going to get into it. It's not an Arsenal show, sorry. But they're going to be playing against the current Belgian Pro League champions, Club Brugge. And as with everything, these things do count for something, right? These things do count for something. So I think that's something where you probably don't want to get too ahead of yourself. You don't want to be looking and saying, oh, it's just Club Brugge, you'll be all right. As I said, current Belgian champions, they are currently sitting second in their league. They have lost 4 times this season, but I do think I am going to be backing Leon Bailey. I'm going to be backing Leon Bailey's Aston Villa to go ahead.
And that too. I'm sorry. We do want to see a Jamaican, a reggae boy on that stage. We do want to see him because we are going to be rooting for him, right? Even I mean, I'm sorry, Liverpool fans. If that game comes around, I'm going to be rooting for the reggae boy. And even if he play against Real Madrid, I'm rooting for the team or any team that a reggae boy is on. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm supporting because I think if he does good, if he goes far, he shine a light on my little nation, right? So I'm rooting for, yes, I want to see, I mean, and we call it Bailey go far. I want to see his team go, and I hope his injuries, I hope he's fit to play too. I hope he does start. And I hope he score.
Yeah, I would love it if he could somehow light up the Champions League, because his season, this campaign is like it's distance, miles
Big up yourself, Grimy.
miles away from the season that he had last season's campaign. You know, and again, there is context for that, you know, injuries and so on. So it's not the same season that he's having, but I think if there's ever a moment to revive yourself, the round of in the Champions League is the perfect platform to do that. Of course, if Liverpool, in case you guys haven't realized, if Liam Bailey and Aston Villa get the job done against Club Brugge, then they could have a date in the diary against either PSG or Liverpool. And if they were to go ahead and secure a spot in the semi-finals, then they could be looking to go up against the likes of PSV, or Arsenal, or one of the Madrid clubs, be it Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid. I think based on what we saw in the Premier League in terms of how Aston Villa handled themselves against the lead toppers, Liverpool, I think there'll be some added motivation there for and Leon Bailey to say, look, like we did our thing against them in the league, and these are the Premier League front runners. So I think they probably got that in the back of their mind. They'll etch that in the back of their mind and saying, look, all we need to do is get the job done against Club Brugge and take it to Liverpool. We took it to them in the league. Yes, we cannot necessarily compare Premier League to Champions League, different platforms, different things at stake. But at the end of the day, this is a knockout competition. So if you're any team, in my opinion, you can get hit. And as I said, sometimes when you get hit, you just have to stay down. Big up Grimy. As I said, big up Issa, and another big up again to Hair by Simone and also DC. Those are the only two female supporters that I have there in the comment section, and always a warm big up to Rochelle as well, to Tia. I haven't seen Tia in a while, but big up those two other female supporters that I have. So again, guys, before we move on, the big question that I have for you guys: what policy would you introduce at the JFF? We're going to be talking about that later on. But let's go ahead and continue with some Leon Bailey and Liverpool conversation, or more importantly, let's just focus on the Champions League. So I think me and Mr. Lee are both siding with our countryman, our compatriot, Leon Bailey, saying we believe he's going to get the job done against Club Brugge to line up a date in the diary against Premier League front runners and one of the kings of the Champions League, Liverpool. Right, so we have Benfica against Barcelona. How are you feeling about that one?
I think Barcelona, it's going to be a face game, but Barcelona has the edge to pull out. You know, they have experienced players, so too does Benfica, but Barcelona, you know, they have young Yamal, I think is like the best, like the best in the world right now. I'm not generational. I'm not going to argue that. Anybody can say what they want to say, but he's certainly up there. Yeah. They have the experience, Lewandowski, and the Brazilian guy that killed Real Madrid. So this should be a game for Barcelona to win. And I think that they should win comfortably. Now, I say this to say that, and there's going to be upset, but I'm giving this to Barcelona because of the roster they have, because of where they're at right now. The team is on fire. Yamal is playing good. I think Kranky's back.
Yes, sir, he is.
He started out. Sir Krank!
How you doing, Kranky?
No, finish what you're saying. I'm only here for 5 minutes. I had a show at 8:30, but I've never been on Crystal channel before. So I was coming on to 5 minutes to say hello. My mic wouldn't work. Luckily, we have AI, and AI helped me fix it because I would have been struggling. I spent some time with AI.
Kranky, that's cheating.
No. You have to use AI for everything nowadays. You know, I don't do anything unless I talk to AI first. You have a conversation, and then I make a decision. So how you guys doing?
We're doing well. How are you? How's your Friday evening treating you?
My Friday evening is good, actually. Well, it's not that good because my Knicks are getting stomped in Cleveland. So I was watching that game. Wow. I said, let me just do a show. And I set the show up for 8:30. I was going to come on for like 5 minutes, say hello. And then I realized my mic wasn't working. So I jumped off, tried to get it fixed. And I've set it up for 9 o'clock. So I'm good.
I appreciate that. What do you make of the show so far? What's piqued your interest?
Now, you guys are talking about a variety of topics, right? in terms of different things. I know you're just talking about Champions League, which I find interesting. I'm not sure if I love the format this year. It's a different format. Just trying to get acclimated to it. So we'll see how if they continue it. This is our response to the situation that occurred a number of years ago, right? Super League. So they have basically done something different, trying to pay out more money. If you want to compete in today's environment, you have to have Champions League on your resume. So Spurs and Man U will struggle. Arsenal made more money this year than they've ever made before. And they're probably going to make more because the year ends mid-year. It's not the entire year. So the last 6 months' money is not in that number. So we don't have any PSR issues for next year. For this year to go out and buy a center forward for 120, 130, and maybe another midfielder. We probably should buy 2 center forward. We may have to get rid of Jesus, even though he's not back till January. Sterling will go back. So we need some players. But the great thing about our team is that we're young. Average age is about 24. So we're young, and we're good.
Okay. So Mr. Liam Bailey, what do you think is going to happen there against Club Brugge? And more importantly, they could be facing off against either PSG or Liverpool, pending that they get the job done. First of all, Club Brugge.
As you put in the thumbnail, and Liverpool fans are beat we already.
Oh,
I
really?
would love for Bailey as a countryman to go through, right? I would love for him to go through. I want to see him do good, right? Make me proud. I'm rooting for him to go as far as possible. Now, it's not going to be easy if he stays fit, but he needs to come good. For one, the fans is on him. He needs to deliver, and this is his chance for him to deliver. Maybe they keep him, maybe they sell him, but the ball is in his court. I want to see him do good. Now, they're gonna win this game against Club Brugge. It's not gonna be easy, but going to the next round against Liverpool, that's where he has to put on his A game. That's gonna be no joke.
What about yourself, Kranky? How do you think this one will pan out?
Club Brugge played really well against Atalanta. They were the much better team. Atalanta beat up Leverkusen last year in the final of the Europa League, so it's interesting. Obviously, the teams change year over year, but Leverkusen doing well in the German league this year as well as they won it last year. I would expect Villa to probably go. Villa's problem is defense, right? They have a lot of defenders who are out.
Yes,
Torres haven't worked out. They sold one player to Turkey. Their defense is not what it needs to be. I think Emery will make a number of changes next year. For this year, though, I mean, he brought in Rashford. He brought in Asensio. They both look very good. I don't think Bailey's going to get much playing time. I mean, he's been injury prone this season. Villa fans are not enamored with Bailey anymore. He did brilliantly last year. He was being touted a lot last year. This year has been a struggle. He has about one goal this year, if I'm not mistaken. So he's struggling with injuries and with form, and that's not a good. That combination is not good.
That's why I said this is his chance. This is maybe his only chance to prove something. Go ahead, guys.
I don't. He's in a tough spot because they bought Diaby and sold him after a year. Now Bailey did better than Diaby last year, but they're very similar players with similar abilities. Now they got good money for Diaby, and they had to ensure they are in conformity with PSR rules. But I think they're gonna go. They probably will take Rashford in. They probably can't afford his salary. They probably got to figure something out with Man U. But I'm not sure Rashford have a future with Amorim at Man U. They're gonna go out and get players, and players like playing for Emery. It seems like. So Bailey position on a threat. I mean, Marcus Rogers is playing brilliantly. He's playing false wingers versus playing Bailey sometimes, which if you're a winger can never be a good thing, right? If you're a winger and he's playing McGinn, he's playing Ramsey in your position, that can't be good. They're not wingers. They can't spread the field. They can't get the width that you're looking for. They can't go by defenders, and he's not playing you, which basically says something about your game, where you are, and what his perception and perspective is. So Bailey needs to up his game, or is he going to be up and out? And fans in England don't have tolerance for non-performance. What have you done for me lately?
I agree with you. He had to up his performance. The fans are screaming at him. I know he's injured, but he got to deliver. He got to up his game. Yeah.
Yeah. My hope is that he does well. I mean, my concern is it's a knock-on effect for Jamaica with all these players, right? Antonio is out, Bailey out of form. We don't know what Gray's doing. Greg Lee's hurt. I'm going to talk about that on my thing tonight. A number of players are not in a good place, right? Greenwood situation is up in the air. I've heard so much situation, both behind the closed door and in the public domain about Greenwood and the situation with him. It's not a good situation. Obviously, he can't play for England again. That's undoubtedly. There are people in his camp think that he still have a chance to play for England. I can tell them there's no way in hell he's playing for England again. Not the way England operates, right? Mm-hmm. Wrong shade, wrong thing to do. It's not happening. So Jamaica made his only option, and he's pontificating and, dilly-dallying. This whole notion about his mom not signing papers, that may be the case, but if you want something bad enough, you'll get it. I don't think he's perturbed. He's a top scorer in the French league. He's scoring phenomenal. He's about 14 of 22 or some ridiculous number. He was great in the Spanish league. He's a phenomenal talent, but he's a phenomenal talent who's probably flawed in some respects. And that probably, hopefully he fixes his situation. But at the end of the day, Jamaica can't be thinking that that's going to be their out card because he's not a surety. Lewis Baker is supposed to be, Lewis Baker is coming either March or June. Lewis Baker to me has a better setup than even any of the midfielders in terms of goal scoring. I think he's about 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 or 1 in 3. He's a very good scoring ratio for a midfielder, and he's getting up there in age. But we need people who can put the ball in the net because we don't do that really well.
I
Kranky,
think.
so do you think? Let me ask Kranky this question. I have this big debate every day. We need midfielders and we need strikers. And the argument I'm hearing from people is, if our midfield is fixed, then our strikers will start to score. What say you?
I don't think the two are the same. I think they're mutually exclusive. Our forwards, when they get chance, not scoring. Gray missed penalty. We don't create enough chances. I'll say that. But when we get them, we're not scoring them because everybody's out of form. Our midfielders are not goal scorers. We don't have a midfielder as a goal scorer. My hope is that we'd have brought Ravel in, no matter what Ravel is situation he's on the beach, getting a pot belly, still bring him in because his ability to be comfortable, on the ball with under pressure is an attribute that not everybody has in football. Right? People get ruffled when they're really pressured. He doesn't feel pressure. No, he's a challenged kid. He's going to be a challenged kid for the rest of his life, and he's getting up there in age. And when I went to St. Louis to watch him play, he was there on the sideline, not happy. I think people really saw his face. He was not happy. They flew him from Middle East to come here to sit on the bench. That's a joke. Especially in a game was being lost. He should be
that the amount of money that they paid to fly him in, it's a waste of money. I can't believe that. That
wasn't the JFF, that was the coach. That wasn't the JFF, that was the coach. I know this is a fact. That was not the JFF, that was the coach decision. But the coach doesn't know his players either. I don't want to get into the coach. I am hypocrite talking about the coach. He brought Aiden over the line, let's be honest. I mean, Devin has been talking to Aiden for about 4 or 5 years, but he closed the deal with Hayden because Hayden played for him or played in an environment that he was in. But he has a lot of things which he's not doing, which I'm not happy about. But he's all we have right now because this is not going to change. But we need to get players in. We keep talking about a lot of different things. We need players with the right ability. I hear people in Jamaica talking about we need balance in the team and we should bring in more local players. I am all supportive of local players if they're good enough. I watched the 2 Trinidad games. I didn't have to watch those games. I probably wish I didn't watch those games. No, it's not being derogatory. It's a fact.
Before you go, Kranky, I want to ask you this. Just having a football conversation, and this is just I don't know if you feel about this. After watching the USA game and how the second leg, how they play with us and toy with us, right? They were better they were just better. This is me. No USA player should be in this national team now, right? He should look for better players. No player below the championship team. Am I wrong? No,
I don't look at it that way, actually. I look at it, which is if the player can compete against the opposition, then I don't care where they're playing in the Bush League. Because then you would disqualify Ravel. Ravel is playing in the Bush League, let's be honest. Right? You disqualify Ravel.
But he's being up there. All right,
but I'm just saying, there are other players who may be like that. Some players drop down to League One in the championship for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
Out of shape, out of contract, whatever it is. Pick the players who can allow you to compete. The US is better than Jamaica. We're confused about the US. Go look at the US players. What is Pulisic doing? What is Musa doing?
Team is better than our national team.
And they're playing at a high level. Robinson playing at a high, even Richards playing for Crystal Palace playing at a high level. They're all playing at a high level, and they're also well coached. When I was in St. Louis, I was so disappointed. The coach did nothing. Robinson was running wild on the left, and I'm sitting right there watching the whole thing, saying, "Why isn't he changing his strategy? Why isn't McGee marking Robinson? Why isn't Robinson plays on the left, play the inverted, running all game, pressuring us, mismatch in terms of number of players, in terms of numbers?" The coach just sit there like he's back in England, and no, he's in Spain on vacation, doing nothing. No, because you have to make in-game management, right? You got to be assessing the opponent, what things not working, what the strategy not working, and make in-game up. He's not making any in-game changes. So you're sitting there thinking, what the heck are we doing? It's crazy. I don't want to come down. Sorry, Crystal, I'm talking too much, but
that's fine. Don't worry about it. I think two things. I think let me just take it a step back a bit. I think just like you said, if you're good enough to play, you should play. And if we go and we say, okay, no, sometimes I really think we have to remind ourselves of who we are rather than who we want to be. I don't think Jamaica, the men's football team, we are nowhere near the level to be saying we're not taking players from, let's say, the USL. If they are good enough to play, like, bring them into camp, let them play, because who knows, that player that you're turning down from the USL might actually suit your team better and give you more than a player from the English Championship or the Premier League. Just because they're from the English Championship or the Premier League doesn't mean that they're that great or even good or subpar, to be honest with you. So I think if they're good enough to play, they should play. I think, it's been a while now since I've seen, let's say someone like Damian Lowe. For me, performances that I have liked with Damian Lowe, I think coincidentally actually came when he was playing in the Egyptian Premier League. And I don't know no one that watches the Egyptian Premier League, but I feel like his better performances for me, and you guys might look at things differently, actually came when he was playing in the Egyptian Premier League. And that's probably a league that no one in the comment section watches. No disrespect to the Egyptian Premier League. So again, I think if they are good enough to play, then they should be given the chance to play, because we are not who we think we are. We really just aren't. It's just how many times have we been humbled in our failure of trying to qualify for FIFA Men's World Cup? How many times have we just been having to walk with our heads down, like failure after failure after failure? Yes, you can say the JFF are at fault. Yes, you can say the coach is at fault. Yes, you can say, the 12th man played a role in their downfall, as did new media. Yeah, that's all correct. But also the players are to blame as well, because they're not that good enough. They're not that good enough. A lot of them are just fortunate to be given a call up, but they're nowhere near levels. They're just not. So I just think, if you're good enough to play, you should definitely play.
My last point before I go, and we shouldn't have this superiority complex when it comes to footballers. Tony, Watkins, Antonio, Pinnock, Vardy, all should tell us that there's some players who play in the lower leagues who may have the ability to play at a higher level, whether it's by chance, whether they mature late, whatever the reason is, they may get there. There are gems to be found in any of these leagues. If you search hard enough, if you're perceptive enough, just go out and find them. A lot of players who may have bumps along the road, like a Ravel, take the wrong turn, have ability, but never achieve their potential or exceed their potential, right? I was just say achieve. I know you can exceed their potential. So my view is go out. But this coach, I don't. Let me stop talking about this coach, because he annoys me. I must say, he annoys me.
I feel like me and you do a show together.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
He annoys me. He annoys me. No, because look, when you're a leader, when you're a leader, when you're a manager, when you're a strategic thinker, you get frustrated. I'm not saying I am, but I'm saying you get frustrated. You see certain things, you're just like, this is nonsense. Like, this is nonsense. You're sitting in England on your butt doing what? Right? Go out there and you should be in France with Greenwood in his ear, being down the championship at games, watching. I see Pochettino at games, his assistant at games, at Crystal Palace, watching Adams play at Bournemouth. They're everywhere searching for their talent, looking at their talent, assessing their talent, and how they're going to use them in the environment. But anyway, I gotta go.
Kranky, do you
Thanks,
know what
Crystal.
he said, Kranky? I don't mean to cut you off. Do you know what he said? He sits down and watch this thing called FIFA, whatever it is. He said that I can watch every game as soon as it's finished. That's what he said he does.
Yeah. He's watching his money. Anyway.
No, you've got to dash. Guys, if you want to tune into Kranky's show, I've left the link in the comment section.
No, you should stay on Crystal's show. She's done. Then if you have time, come watch my show. I'm still there. All right? We're not playing that game.
Man.
Crystal, thank you.
Over, Kranky. After we're done, we'll come over.
Yeah,
bless her, Crystal. Bless her journey. All right,
we can we're gonna head over to Kranky's show after we finish off on this one. All right, guys.
See you now, big Kranky.
You guys subscribe to his channel. Just again backtracking on what Kranky was saying. Again, I think in this day and age, I think when you're looking at certain levels of controversy, you really don't have much choice to make. Whether it's to do the right thing.
Eric, so you saying that the coach not supposed to go around and check on players? Come on, man. I mean, that's his job, to go around and scout player, Eric. That's what he get paid for. Go around and look for the best player. Just don't sit and wait for assistant coach. He needs to do his job. That's what he get paid for. What you saying?
Just lost train of thought. As I was saying, as it relates to controversy in this day and age, whether you want someone to act with a moral compass or whether you don't think someone is acting with a moral compass, I think within today's day and age, where we're living in the social media day and age, when certain things is presented to us and there is evidence on the line and people have access to said evidence, I think when you look at England, I don't know how they do things behind the scenes, but if there is anyone behind the scenes that's saying actually they want to give someone like Greenwood a second chance, again, today's day and age where you have social media that plays a big role in everything that we do, and people have access to evidence, and you could hear and see certain things, again, in relation to Greenwood, from the audio to the screen recording. And I'm not going to get too deep into that conversation. I actually that you can say that Reiss has played a role in England not wanting to call him up again. I don't think in this situation Reiss has played a role. I think even if Greenwood was white, there is no way that you could see him playing for England again, given what we saw, given what we heard on the audio, given what we saw on the screen recording.
Here's what though. I kind of push back on that a little bit. Go ahead.
Hold on. Again, because I think a lot of the times when people are talking about Greenwood, they purposely ignore the fact that we saw the evidence for ourselves. This is not hearsay. Again, I'm not here to tell people what to do and what to think when it comes to Greenwood. If you want him to play for Jamaica, that's on you. That's none of my concern. If you want him to play for your country, that's on you. But let's not act as if you did not look at the evidence. Let's not act as if you didn't hear the audio. Let's not act as if you didn't see the screen recording. Because you did, you're just choosing to do what's best for football. You're just saying by any means necessary, you want him to play for Jamaica. And again, that's on you. So I'm not going to buy into the only reason why he's not playing for England is because he's black. Because I think if he was white, you would have the same outcome. I think if he was white, Manchester United, again, pressure bust pipe. I don't know what Manchester United would have wanted to do as a club. It's debatable. But I think even if Greenwood was white, pressure bust pipe, you would have to cut your ties. Like I have a friend who was a die-hard Manchester United fan, and they've cut ties with Manchester United because of that. They don't want nothing to do with Manchester United because of that. And that is someone who's also black. And they're just saying, okay, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, pink. It doesn't matter. For them, they saw enough and they were able to make an informed decision. So with Greenwood, I don't really think that his skin color has anything to do with it. Sorry. And I don't actually want to talk about Greenwood because that's just opens up a can of worms. I think if we are going to talk about Greenwood, that just has to be for a completely separate show, not for tonight's show. I am cautious of time, so I'm actually going to we segue a bit there, guys. So I do want to apologize for that. I don't think we got the final answer from Mr. Lee. Benfica versus Barcelona. Who you backing with that? Barcelona. I think we're both
Let me
backing
touch on
Barcelona.
what you were saying about Green for a bit.
Mm.
With me, any player, I don't want to say nothing about them until I see them on the sideline in their jersey.
Mm-hmm.
No player until that's just me. I'm just tired of hearing this and that and all the above.
Congratulations.
Until I see you on the sideline, then I will start talking about you. Until
Yeah,
now, I
that's
ain't gonna talk about nobody until I see them on the sideline.
you know,
So,
I think you're right. I
go-
think you're right because I think we probably share similar sentiments. It probably stretches over to the Reggae Girls as well. Like I'm kind of tired of certain conversations. Are they coming? Are they not coming? Like I said, if a player is born in England and they want to play for England, play for England. I'm not going to have no malice towards you because naturally you would have grown up wanting to play for England anyways. So it's completely understandable. Big up yourself, Brian Mighty. I hope you are well, sir. Big up yourself, Devin Porter. Nitro, big up yourself as well. And Crystal Image Sound Production. I haven't seen you in a while. Big up yourself. I hope all of you guys there in the comment section are in good health. So again, Barcelona, Benfica versus Barcelona. What's your final say on that one? We're both back in Barcelona,
no,
right?
as I told you, Barcelona is gonna win, and they're gonna win because of what they have 3 players on the team right now that's on fire. Lewandowski's experience is just wow. You wish you have that. His experience is a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Yamal, the kid is on fire. The kid is tearing it up. And then they have the Brazilian guy that's knocking them in. So I see Barcelona with the experience taking this one and taking this one comfortable.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's move along. Dortmund versus Lille. How are you feeling about that one?
Oh my God. That's gonna be fireworks right there. They play very similar football. That one right there, I'm gonna leave that one with an open mind, open imagination. I don't know.
An imagination.
I don't know. They're very similar. They balance, and from what I see from Dortmund, they a bunch of young players. It's good, skillful, strong. But Lily, on the other hand, so if you want to go by leagues, right? You're gonna say the Bundesliga should get it done, but I don't know, Crystal. This one is the first one I'm gonna punt on. I'm gonna punt on this one.
All right. Let me try and pick one. I'm gonna go with Lille. I'm gonna go with Lille to win this one.
And why you
In
go with
terms
Lily? We have to give why. You gotta give why.
well, I'm just feeling a Lille win, a Lille victory. In terms of the Bundesliga, because you referenced the Bundesliga, they're currently sat in the 11th position. Dortmund sat in the 11th position in Bundesliga in comparison to Lille. They're sat in 5th. Again, I know some people are quite snobbish when it comes to top tier of men's football or just French football in general, which is kind of funny, just because of France and what they represent. But in terms of the league, I know a lot of people don't respect the league, but I'm gonna go with Lille to win this one.
Okay.
Crunch time, Bundesliga heavyweight clash, Bayern Munich versus Bayer Leverkusen. Who you backing with this one?
Jesus God, this is another killer right here. Bayern Munich been like this lately, but they have a form. Hurricane. They both play in Germany. I want to see Vincent Company as a black coach. I want to see him do good. But in terms of picking these 2 teams and the one before, it's never going to be easy. And so I want to. This is what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to say I'm going to go with Bayer Leverkusen because they're hungry, and it seemed like they want stuff done. I'm sorry, but if Vincent Company lose this game, his job is on the line, even if he win the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Bayer Leverkusen on this one. Very tight game.
By Leverkusen. You know, I think I'm actually siding with you. I think maybe the hurricane curse might continue, might spill over into the Champions League.
Forget about that one.
The hurricane curse might continue, man. And also, you know, I like what you said there about, obviously, as black people, as a, you know, black woman, as you as a black man, naturally we want Vincent Company to do well, because that could open up the door for more black managers to coach and to manage top teams in respected leagues. Usually you see black managers down in those like watered down leagues, and they don't really have a long shelf life. So if someone like a Vincent Company steps up to the plate and he does a tremendous job, who knows, that might have a positive knock-on effect. And for that reason, we would obviously love Bayern Munich to beat Leverkusen and, you know, go all the way. But I am saying maybe you might have that Kane curse again. And also Leverkusen with Alonso as well. There is some talks about him potentially being the next Real Madrid manager as well. And surely what a way to actually say, I'm your man, if you can go ahead and beat Bayer Leverkusen, qualify for the latter rounds of the Champions League. And I mean, how amazing would it be if Bayer Leverkusen actually are crowned kings of Europe? Surely that would be, I've done all that I need to do with Bayer Leverkusen. I've won the league, I've gone invincible, and I've won the Champions League. Now I'm off to Real Madrid. So that's the way that I'm looking at that one.
Yeah, but you know what though? Stick up in with this question. When we look at coaches that come out, right? These young coaches, right?
Yeah.
And I see Vincent Company, he didn't do bad with Burnley last season. Was it last season or the other one before? And I was shocked when I see him coaching Bayern Munich. And you have to give it to him. Xavi Alonso also, right? Left from Liverpool, and he's doing good. But where did they hire black coaches? So you got to give it to Vincent Company.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I want to see him do good, but it's like, and I know they're quick to get the sack. If they don't deliver, you know what I mean? The sack is coming.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not a fair game for them. Like he get this big, this high position, German giants, and the pressure is on him to win. I do hope, I want him to win because I want him to show that other black managers can do it, not just at a lower level. You see what I'm saying? They can do it at the big level, right?
Yeah.
But it's a hard chance. But I'm not gonna go back from my pick. I'm going with Bayer Leverkusen. But just like, you know what I mean, Leon Bailey, if he doesn't come good in this game and the rest of the season, the fans and the manager may just cook his goose. And if Vincent Company does not win the Bundesliga this season or do progress further in the Champions League, which I do hope that they give him a little bit more time. But these people, you know, they love to cut. You know what I mean?
100%. So we're both saying Leverkusen in that one, aren't we?
Yeah, Leverkusen with that. Yeah.
Feyenoord versus Inter Milan. Who you backing for the final team?
Oh my God, this is another. These teams are just, and there's another Dutch team in the league, and another. This is the only Italian, right? No, yeah, only Italian league team, right?
Yes, sir.
I thought Juventus. I thought Juventus make it through. No, they didn't. Wow, this one is tough too. Inter Milan should get this job done at home, and this is why it's so crucial, Crystal, with the Reggae Boys not winning at home. Inter Milan have to win at home, and they have to win at home good. I think the first leg is at Feyenoord, which gives Inter. If I'm not sure who has the first hand, right? But Inter Milan should take care of this job at home. Should take care of the tie at our home.
You got Feyenoord got the they've got the first leg. So you got the first leg goes to them, and then they got the second leg over in Italy.
That's what I think that's what I think is gonna give them the edge in Inter Milan. I
You
hope.
think so?
Yes,
Okay, so
that's what I think is gonna give them the edge.
I think
Because it's
me
the
and you.
last game at home. The final game is it's gonna give them an edge. And it's not gonna be easy though. It's not gonna be easy, but I think Inter Milan have the quality to finish the game at home. Try to keep it low on the road, come back home and handle business.
Yeah. All right. So I think you have a guest. I don't know if they're available. I don't know if you want to give them a quick little call, because we're about to segue into a completely different topic before we continue with some more conversation. So again, guys, if you had the power and you work for the Jamaica Football Federation, what
You're ready to come in
policy
the boss.
would you bring to the
You
table?
understand?
So if Jamaica Football Federation, what policy would you introduce? Right? So let me know in the comment section. If you had the powers, what policy would you introduce at the JFF? If you're working for the JFF, what policy would you bring to the table? Let me know in the comment section. All right. I think Mr. Lee is gearing up for a guest to come on the show. So what I'm going to do is do a quick little segue. I'm not sure why you guys are so quiet. We're going to do a quick little segue. And we're going to be talking about some baseball, and this Yankees policy will shock you unless you follow baseball, that is. And if you do follow baseball, then obviously it won't come as a shock. But it's one of those things that really had me sit up earlier on, maybe around after midday, definitely after midday, because I think it was after I came home. And I was just like, okay, I really have to share this with my audience. And some of you know you guys are not big baseball fans, but I think this one is probably going to let you know that probably something that you do want to know. And if anything, I think it's one of those wild facts that you can reflect upon when you're asking those quiz with your friends. I don't know. So you should be able to see the screen in front of me, and I will go ahead and read that headline there for you. It says, New York Yankees reverse decades-old facial policy. Now, this is a policy there where, so to just gloss over everything before I get into the article there, New York Yankees had a policy that stood for almost 50 years. And basically that policy prevented their players from having beards. Yes, you got that correct. The policy prevented their players from having beards. So I'm sure if you've been, followers of Major League Baseball, you would have noticed that they're always clean shaven. New York Yankees fans are always clean shaven. But that policy now has been pushed to the side. So the article here says the New York Yankees have reversed a 49-year-old facial hair policy to allow their players and staff to now sport well-groomed beards. On the previous club regulations, the players' hair was not allowed to touch their collars, and although mustaches were allowed, beards were not permitted, right? And this is something there that broke earlier on in the day, on Friday, that is. What do you make of that policy? Are you surprised that it existed, and are you also surprised that it existed for nearing 50 years?
Changes are coming, man. Changes are coming. Maybe new owner, I'm saying maybe new management. It's a different time. Who knows?
Sorry, say that again.
I'm just saying, maybe they have a new manager. Maybe it's just, the times, Maybe they had a vote, or maybe it's a change of heart or something, but I really don't know. I never, I really can't say.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely spoke internally about changing the policy before making the announcement that the policy would change. And I just thought, again, it was just one of those things that I never picked up on it. Again, I don't watch Major League Baseball religiously, so that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't pick up on it. But I did think, wow, like how many players would you have missed out on in terms of world-class players because you have this policy that shouldn't be? You know, I'm not a man, so maybe you can share some insight. Is hair a big deal for you? You know, is facial hair a big thing for you?
You know, a lot of teams are like that. I remember Alan Skilcoat said when he went to Brazil, and he you know, because of his dreadlock, he got, you know, discriminated against and stuff like that. Teams have their policy, just like some school, you know, you're here. To be honest though, if they weren't losing money, this policy would have been changed a long time ago. So if it wasn't affecting the team, maybe they didn't care much about it. You know what I mean? But maybe now the time has changed. That's maybe it. But if they wasn't losing money for 50 odd years, they wouldn't care. So I don't know if it's the times caught up or whatever, but things have changed. I have no idea. But that's interesting to see they make this change after 50 plus years. Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's a time. It's just like you said. You know, we're in the modern day and age. Facial hair, I think, you know, or hair in general, people use that as it's a big part of their identity. You know, it allows people to express themselves and so on. So, you know, players have pushed back on it in the past and even most recently. So I think they finally realized that, you know, if you want to like maintain your relevance, you pretty much have to get with the time. And to think that in 2025 you had a policy about no being clean shaven. You know,
someone just text me and said for the JFF policy, no bleaching.
Oh my God.
Right, but the JPL players, a lot of them are bleaching, right?
Whoa. That person has said exactly what I was going to say.
Really?
They have said
the same thing you had thinking too.
The same thing that I was going to say. I swear to you. I swear to you. I don't know who that person is, but telling myself, big up themselves because they are
it's somebody that you know well too. Somebody we all know well. I tell him to come on the show, man.
You
come on the show, man, because you're right. I never thought of that one, but you stole Crystal's thought.
That was my policy. Like my policy would have been no bleaching. I know it's going to upset a couple people, but I don't really care. I think you should love your color, love your beautiful complexion. That's another conversation for a different day. But if I could introduce a policy, I don't want to give the JFF no ideas, or perhaps I do. Mine would be no bleaching across the board, all the way from youth level. I don't know the youngsters in Jamaica what age they. Hopefully they don't get into all of that nonsense.
Oh my God. I've seen a youngster going to school. He couldn't be more than 15, 16. And his face was looking like a ghost, white as snow. And I've seen a couple of players actually bleaching themselves too.
Yeah.
There's a former national player that used to play, I'm not going to call a name, used to play outside of the country and came back home. And you see the man, you literally are just like, what the heck happened to you?
Yeah,
you know, like ghosts and culture. It's just like,
if I'm not mistaken, I think either yourself or the guys in the comment section could guide me here. But there was a player not too long ago where I'm pretty sure the president, Michael Ricketts, said that he couldn't be part. I think he might have backstepped. I'm pretty sure I saw an article where Mr. Ricketts had said a certain player cannot represent the national team because he bleaches. But for me, when I saw this policy about the New York Yankees, straight away I was like, if I had my way with the JFF, my policy would be no bleaching. Sorry, it's going to piss off some people. I don't care. My policy again would be no bleaching. What would be your policy?
You know, my policy is I never have one I thought of, but my policy would be to the players or to the coach or, you know what I mean, whoever, is about I want to implement, you know, a thing, you know what I mean, with the coach of where I want the team to go. That means punctuality. Every man, nobody is bigger than the team. This go forward because of what happened before, right? The team comes first. No one is bigger than this team. I would implement some Sir Alex Ferguson's policy. Here's why I said that. if you're gonna play for this national team, you don't pick and choose what team you games you play. If it's a friendly, you come and play. You just don't show up for big games if Messi is coming. You understand what I'm saying? Make yourself available for every game. That's one of the problems that I have. It's a policy implement. You sign your contract. I'm available for every game. I'm gonna send this to your team. We're playing 6 games in so and so. Just don't show up for. Look, there's a policy in. If you don't show up for 6 friendly games, but for 2 or 3 friendly games, you can't show up. You can't show up for World Cup qualifier. You can't show up for a big game we play in Argentina. That one of the things I see happen in the past. That's my pet piece right there. But I get you on the bleaching thing, and I support you 100% with that one. Because I can't go back on your thing.
You know, if anyone knows Mr. Ricketts, tap him on the shoulder. Tell him new policy, no bleaching. I would back him with that one. No bleaching, man or woman, don't care. No bleaching. I think you've touched on something that I was going to discuss at a later date, but scratching the surface, I think. Listen, gone are the days where a lot of players truly stood for something purely based on footballing reasons, right? Like, we're not the stuff that you're talking about like those old school players, and we don't really have that these days. Like, we're looking across the board where I know we discussed someone like Kylian Mbappe. There was some reports saying that he only wants to play certain games and he wants to, you know, quote unquote prioritize his club career, etc., etc. And I already dived into that where Kylian Mbappe is concerned, but he's not the only one. But I'm definitely going to be siding with the policy. You come and you play for your nation. I'm not trying to hear this nonsense about putting your club first. You want to put your club first, you're also going to be putting both feet out the door, and I'll be the one to close the door behind you. Yes, there are some exceptions where you need to not be in the national team if we're talking about mental health and well-being, if we're talking about your family needing you. Absolutely, if you're injured or you're just making your way back from injury, absolutely, it's understandable that you shouldn't be part of the national setup. But if it's a case of you're just saying, you know, you're the big I am and you don't want to play in certain friendlies, then I can't back you with that. Sorry, I just can't back you. So yeah, I agree with you. There should be a policy there that's just like you show up to play unless it's within reason for you not to do so.
Yeah. This man Steve on texting me about the bleaching. He wasn't joking. I tell you, if you come on the show, man, it's a serious thing going on. But I want to tell you though, it's at the school level too, right? It's at the school level, and so it has to be implemented into the leagues, right? If you can't, just because if you're gonna choose a player to come in the national team that's playing in one of them league and he already bleach up, it's a situation. We have to start that policy now. Like, it doesn't look good when you go abroad. It doesn't look good on you. You know, no one knows the true colors, right? Because this photo saying one thing, but this photo right here is showing a white face.
Most of the times, you know, percent of the time you don't look good anyways. I'm sorry, but you don't look good.
You look like ghosts.
You don't look good. They look like there's something seriously wrong with you. It does not look attractive at all. Like, your natural skin color, you actually look better with your natural skin color. You look way better with your natural. I think, you know, it's probably something to do with self-confidence, and that's probably something that they need to work on. It's also to do with fantasy and what is glamorized and what is seen as pretty and what is seen as not so pretty. But yeah, for me, and that would be across all sports. If I really had my way, athletics included, no bleaching. You want to bleach, fine. You're not representing our country though. You can't tell a man what to do, but do that, cool, but you're just not going to be representing our country. And again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section there. DC is saying, seriously, the chemicals is 99% of those products are toxic, and over time it can seriously damage the health, disrupting. Yeah, I mean, you seem to know more about science than myself, or maybe you did some research pertaining to the damages of skin bleaching, because I saw you said another another comment. I don't think I read this one out. I glanced over it and brought it up on screen. Doctors in Jamaica complaining that the wounds are not healing. Because the skin barrier is so damaged. Again, that's something that I didn't know about. So it's not shocking to me. Obviously, if you keep doing the same thing and you're eating away at your skin, it's bound to happen. I think I've upset a couple of the bleachers because they've exited the live stream, but good, you should be upset because you wouldn't play for my country. I'm not backtracking on that.
You know, the first time I ever see, the first time I saw this, I was living in Washington, D.C. It was 2005. It came in the Washington Post. And I swear to you, I'm kidding you not. Two things that they were talking about, black girls were doing. Caribbean girls, Jamaicans, and then they show it started to spread. It's in different places. They were taking the chicken pills. And they were bleaching. Chicken pills and they were bleaching. And to see My Little Nation in the big Washington Post, I was like, oh my God. And I started making calls and it was like, yeah, it's a serious thing. Farmers can't get no chicken pills.
Yeah, the chicken them
Farmers
kind.
can't get no chicken pills. And they interviewed one girl and she was so proud. Yeah, it made me big butt and big lips. And you're in the paper. And I was like, oh my God. And then the farmers were complaining they couldn't get the chicken pills to buy for the chicken.
Yeah, I remember that. I feel like that was some 15 plus years ago, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was a good while. Before, I think it was about 2006 to 2007. I never forget it.
Good while. I do remember.
It was in the Washington Post. And the big Washington Post, because I read the paper every day. That's what I do. I'm in politics, all this stuff. And to see My Little Nation popped up. Girls bleaching and taking chicken pills. And then a few years after, the men started, even chicken pills. I heard that men were taking chicken pills too. That was some serious stuff, man. But
why they with that, but
you're right. Countries should have teams should have standards and there's changes. All right, look, as we talk about changes, right? The Reggae Boys just have a policy at one point. If you have a prison record. Now I don't know how old you is, but Jamie Lawrence, when he came from England to play for us, he came from Bradford. He has a criminal pass. And the JFF policy was that if you have a criminal record, you can't play for the national team. And they lifted for him. And everybody looked and said, you know what, everybody deserves a second chance, right? He got in trouble young and early, came out of prison, fixed his career, and became a Premier League player, right? And so you can see where the young man changed his life around, right? Captain Barry looked at it and said, you know what? This man turned his life around. He changed. Let's give him a chance. And he did came from he did came and did, you know what I mean, I'm good for us. And I think that anybody who make mistake when they're young, the national team can give them a chance if they are up to the level.
I hear you, but again, within the context of things where you're looking at things from a modern day and age, you also have to prepare yourself for backlash. You can't necessarily, not all situations are the same. So Jamie Lawrence, I'm familiar with Jamie Lawrence and his situation. No one can compare Jamie Lawrence's situation to Mason Greenwood, as much as some might try.
No, that's a total different. That's remember I said he got himself into some form of criminal activity. That's two different things. I'm not going to compare.
I think it depends on the situation and how much are you prepared for the backlash? How much are you prepared for backlash and whether you
that
can.
That one is a total different situation from this thing. If you get in trouble as a young man, and it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. You understand? If you kill somebody, that's a situation where you have to look at it and and think. Because that topic though, I think I'll do another topic with that because I have a certain feeling about that, plus to some things that I see going on where I live with certain people in high society. They do stuff like that and they get away with it. They can even run for I don't want to say too much, but there's stuff that you can do and you can get away because you have money, right? Now, that's this stuff as a young child, you get in trouble, you steal a car, you steal a car, you crash it, but later on you turn yourself around. That's different than the other stuff we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
different.
different from shooting someone. But you know, little kid get in trouble,
Yeah.
go out and steal a candy, get locked up. You know, I'm talking that type of level. You know, I'm not talking the different level. You have a gun and you shoot somebody. You know, you go in and you hold, you kidnap people. That's a total different scenario. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I think just like you said, context is definitely key, and more importantly, when you make certain decisions, you do have to ask yourself, have you actually like prepped yourself for any potential backlash? And if there are,
Yeah.
if you are prepping yourself, what does those preparations look like? Obviously, those are conversations that's for like the internal individuals.
That
Um,
person still texting me. That person said, no partying before games.
no party before, I
No
mean,
party before
that's
games.
that's
And
ridiculous.
that's one of the things I was saying earlier about the coach has to be, I remember I told you about the coach has to be serious implementing these rules. You're not bigger than the team. Get what I'm saying to you? It happened before with no call no name. You are not bigger than the team.
I've said it before, and people probably rub people up the wrong way. But at the end of the day, we have seen over the years that we just have no standard, and we need to set some standards for ourselves, both where the men's team and the women's team are concerned. Because if not, it's just things are just going to always get out of hand. This person pulling in and other people pulling in the other direction. We just don't have no standard. We're just fully automatic. Like there needs to be some standard. There needs to be policies put in place. That's something that I definitely agree with. We've been going for over 1 hour and 35 minutes. We're trying to do probably no more than 30 minutes, 2 hours. So, Mr. Reece Nelson, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the latest regarding Reece Nelson. In case you haven't, let's go ahead and give you an update. Marcus Silva revealed in his Friday press conference that Reece Nelson could be out for the remainder of the season in a cruel twist as the on-loan winger closed in on a return to first-team football. He suffered another hamstring injury in his other leg as issue that required surgery last week. And hearing from the gaffer, he said, it's a really tough moment for us. Of course, first of all, for the player, we feel really sorry for him because he worked really hard to get back after the first hamstring injury. It was a moment that we all were excited about him coming back because he was really important for us before the injury last December. He did so well, and we know that his best level is capable to help us win football matches and be stronger. So Reece Nelson, how you feeling about that update there?
So
On
that update is not good for him, and it's not good for Fulham that signed him. I never knew he have during the whole time at Arsenal, he was so much on the bench. I didn't even know he have an injury problem. So this is a big blow for him. He get a chance to revive his career, to make himself up, and this going and happen to him. And you know my stance when it comes to say him playing for the Reggae Boys. Until I hear that comes out of his mouth or I see him on the bench, I'm not gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? With the potential on Reggae Boy stuff. I'm done with all that. Until I see somebody on the bench or I come out of their mouth publicly, I want to play for the Reggae Boys. My documents is not being ready. No, nothing from me. But his injury is bad timing. I wish him all the best because, as you know, he was at Arsenal on the bench, right? Barely getting on game. Arteta re-sign him, and I know if you're gonna re-sign somebody, you got to give them a promise that I'm gonna play you, right? Because I'm not gonna be dumb to just go ahead and sign, not knowing that I'm not gonna get no freaking play time. So he must have promised him something, right? So for him not to get that much playing time with Arsenal last year and make this transition over and then have this injury, it's bad for him. It's really bad for him. You know what I mean? It's bad.
Okay, so Reece Nelson, when I was like trying to put I know me and you, we share, I don't know what the heck is going on with my screen.
Oh no, he said something.
No, we share similar opinions when it comes to how we want things to be done. But this latest, let me just remove that headline there so I can go ahead and read what Reece posted after his surgery. You can see there, thumbs up in the hospital bed. He says, life and football are all about setbacks and comebacks. This one hurts, but it's just part of the journey. Surgery went well. I'm focused and determined to return stronger than ever. And of course, we wish him all the best on his injury comeback. But again, I know how you feel about certain situations, but could this one, looking at the fact that of course he is aside from us, he's obviously eligible to represent England. We know that Thomas Tuchel is set to announce his first ever squad for England's pending fixtures, upcoming fixtures. In terms of England's talent pool, it does run quite deep. Is it fair to say that given the circumstances, stop start, of course, England are going to be looking at, preparing themselves for the World Cup, next year's FIFA Men's World Cup. They're going to want to go as far as they can, so they're going to want to build a squad that's capable of helping them to do so. Do you think by now, a bit of a reality check is probably kicking in for a Reece Nelson to say, look, when you look at things, it's not looking promising where England is concerned, and perhaps he needs to commit himself or consider committing himself for Jamaica. And if that's the case, could you potentially look at this injury as a blessing in disguise?
And I'm gonna go one more time again and tell you, I am not gonna sing that song until I hear it comes on from these players. I see your point, but what this coach is gonna do, like the previous coaches, try to cup tie as much players as possible and don't use them again, right? And if they don't see this stuff, that's what England is doing.
I don't think, the thing is, again, this is why I gave you the context. I don't think Reece Nelson, unless a miracle happens, because remember the men's World Cup is next year. We're in 2025. Again, Thomas coming is the new head coach. He has to get the ball running. I don't think there is a period of a window where Reece Nelson, again, unless a miracle happens and he bounce back. Because remember, this is a second injury for him, right? I don't think he has that window of opportunity to leapfrog those players who are ahead of him to say, I'm going to be playing in the England World Cup qualifiers.
But this is what I get you, but this is what I'm saying to you again, right? There's several other players. This is the last cycle. They're 26, right? And if they don't make this World Cup, right? The next World Cup, they're going to be 30, right? And there's not just him. There's a plenty more player in his position that can play for us or England, right? But they're still holding on. And I'm saying that if they don't get the chance to do this World Cup now, right? They're going to be 30. Their day is done. What I'm saying to you now, there's two things I'm saying to you. One, if these players don't come out and say publicly, I want to play for Jamaica, right? I get your point that he should say, right? The next World Cup I'm going to be going on 29. If I don't make it now, England is not, and plus I is injured. The World Cup is in so time. I'm not going to make it. I get your point in that. It's now for them to declare that I want to commit my future to somewhere else, right? If they don't publicly do that and still holding on, maybe I can heal and the coach will see me, I am not singing that song.
No, but I think you're probably looking at this from a completely different perspective. First of all, like, players very rarely publicly say that they want to commit to a country unless asked. So unless they're asked in an interview, do you want to play for a Jamaica or a Nigeria? It's very uncommon to see a player publicly say they want to play for a certain country unless it's in an interview, a bit like the interview that I did with Mason Holgate several years back, where he said, he'd be keen to have a conversation with the JFF. So again, I don't really think it's the same topic of conversation that we have in mind. Like, I get where you're coming from, that you don't want to cheer for someone until they're in their country's college. But what
in
I'm
fairness though, Crystal, I think he has opportunity to does that because he was in Jamaica early last year.
Mhm.
He was in Jamaica early last year when he was in the jersey and he was doing, and we thought the coach was going to name him in the squad. Do you remember that? I
Yeah,
don't know
he
if you
was
remember.
he
Before
was
he
in.
named the Copa squad, he was down in the jersey and he was doing the most. And everybody was like, they thought that him and the other guy, because they say even him have Jamaican background. Jesus, Arsenal guy too. I
ML
think he
Smith,
left Arsenal too.
ML Smith Rowe.
No, geez, just on my name right
ML
now.
Smith,
And so, Louis Smith Rowe.
ML Smith.
Smith Rowe. They say he have Jamaican background. And I'm saying at that time, he was in Jamaica on vacation and going to party with Leon Bailey and all that, right? I'm saying, and everybody was looking for him to be named in the squad, right?
But could he
My
have been
point to
named
you
in?
is this, though. Huh?
Mhm. Could he have been named in the squad?
But that's the thing we don't know because there was before that he came out and say, I'm Jamaican. My mother is Jamaican. He was
What
giving
I'm
us
saying, that
hints coming up to it.
that's what I'm saying. You can't necessarily judge him based on that. What if he didn't have everything that he needed to set in place for him to play for Jamaica? That's what I'm saying. Just because he isn't draped in the national colors now to take to the field of play and have all the right documentation in order doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't want to play for Jamaica. I think one of the
That's
positive.
my point, Crystal. I am not saying no. My point to you is it goes for everybody else until I hear out of
No,
their
but
mouth.
no, I
Right.
think you're talking about a completely different subject. I'm saying to you, is Reece Nelson's current injury a blessing in disguise for us? Do you think that this could offer us a window of opportunity where he will just commit to Jamaica, in your eyes, fully commit to Jamaica?
Okay. If you put it that way, then yes. If you put it that way, then yes. It's it's a chance for us to grab him. And so because he will realize that his England chances are dim. And
Yeah.
and so if you put it that way, yes, I put it that way. But I'm gonna say this to you. This new coach is gonna want to cap as many players before and throw them away because he's gonna want to try this thing, right? And he's gonna cap a bunch of players that could play for us and don't use them again.
No, I disagree with you. I think, again, I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. The new England head coach does not have time to just be capping players for the sake of capping players to be petty. Like, first of all, we're dealing with a German here. He doesn't have time for that. He's coming in and he has to hit the ground running. He has to get those World Cup qualifiers under his belt, and he has to prepare a team that can qualify, that can not only qualify for the World Cup, but also go to the latter stages of the World Cup and potentially win the World Cup. He's looking at the first we're looking at group stage match day 1 of 10. They're going to be playing Albania, and that is the 21st of March, so next month. Then they have Latvia. You can see the run of fixtures that they have in front of them. Andorra.
Didn't he play some games already?
No. So they've got Andorra, sorry, they've got Senegal as a friendly, they got Andorra again, they've got Serbia, they got Wales as a friendly. So again, he doesn't have the time on his hands to go ahead and just unnecessarily cap players. And no disrespect to Nelson for the caliber of what they're looking forward to in terms of that pecking order. I don't think he's going to go out his way and say, let me go and spite Jamaica. The FA might have that mentality, but Thomas Tuchel don't have that time on his hand to say, I'm going to unnecessarily cap Reece Nelson so Jamaica don't have him.
So let me ask you this then, Crystal. Let me ask you this, right? Reece Nelson wasn't starting for Arsenal, right? And most of these coaches, right, they're going to go for starters. And in his position, England have at least 3 and 3, at least 6 persons ahead of him, right? And he realized that he's not starting for Arsenal, and that would be a chance to get him picked, right? So one, right there, and I know I'm not sure. I could probably say that some coach probably from Jamaica probably, you know, talked to him. I don't know. But when he came out and say all this stuff, right? He should have realized that, you know what, my prospect is there. But you can't blame him for holding out for England. And I have no problem with that, right? But
Yeah.
to your point, yes. If a fit Reece Nelson right now, say he gets back. And how old is he right now? 24, 25?
He's 25.
Yes. If he doesn't make it 25, 29, the Euro is going to be in when, blah, blah, blah. He's done the pecking order. He has to come back and get healthy and all that now. How long would you give him when he come back from his injury to make a decision?
I think you have to be fair to him. I think you have to realize, you have to think about the well-being aspect of this situation as well. He's not playing. Whether he harbors or harbored a desire of wanting to play for England, no one can knock him because that is his country of birth. Maybe the fact that he's got, you know, another injury to deal with and he needs to recover. Not only does he have to think about his international career, and maybe the curtain has closed on one particular country as opposed to the other, and that probably hurts to a degree. And you have to look at the human element of that. It is going to hurt because that is still his country of birth at the end of the day. That doesn't.
I said that you can't blame him if you want to play for England. I have no beef with that.
That doesn't mean
that respect.
That doesn't exactly like that doesn't mean he loves Jamaica less or doesn't respect Jamaica. It's just not he would have grown up wanting to play for England, right? That's what he sees on the TV screens and so on. His heroes are probably couple players who have played for England, couple legends who have played for England. So the reality check has definitely probably reined in on him in terms of him just that curtain has now been closed and it's not going to be reopened. And before he can even think about Jamaica fully, and that's not to say that he doesn't want to play for us, he has to also look at his club career because he's on loan. Loan.
Say he heals up next year, end of this year, he's playing good football, and he make a decision, right? 26, 27, right? He probably have a Gold Cup in him, probably have a World Cup in him, right? And that's a situation where you have to give him a chance to make that. But you're right. It could be a blessing in this guys for us, right? And then get me wrong, I'm not no player for making that decision. We cannot make a decision for anybody, right? And we can't, hey, when you don't want to come, you don't know. They would tell you. I respect a player that tells you,
I think
I'm
you're right.
holding out for this, right?
You know,
because I'm a die-hearted reggae boy fan, right?
You said something earlier on. I don't know if you could like backtrack or remind me. You said something about the England. Oh yeah, England purposely capping. I think we also have to remind ourselves that there were a time where clubs in England would like put that in their contract that you can only play for England. You see?
Oh, that I didn't know. That was probably back then, but I didn't know that.
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
Who's to say that that's not part of the contract now or something that the agents are whispering?
I don't think they can do that. I don't think FIFA will let them do that now. But here's the deal now. One thing maybe you touched on the other day, these agents are looking for themselves. They're like, you know, if you sign for Jamaica, your value go down, blah, 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 right? If you sign for England, you have a better chance. And what they're looking at is when it comes to transfer. And there is he played for England under 20, he played for it gives the agent more money in their pocket, right? So it's a lot of factors that go, but I'm not blaming any player for making a decision. And no one here should be pulling them down and running behind them and chasing them and call them names. 100%. My point is just that I'm saying I will only get excited when I see you come out and say publicly, or I see you on the sideline in your jersey, right? I 100%. Still won't have nothing against it. But back to the point that you're saying, I do respect. I do get your point. And who knows? This could be a blessing in disguise for us. He could come back fit next year. You know what I'm saying? And just decide to look, I'm gonna go straight reggae boy, and that could be a blessing. That could be a blessing. But I will never hold it against anybody because they hold out to play for England. Never. That was wrong of me. Wrong.
No, I think you probably just that's why I kept on like repeating it because I was just like I don't think you're like I'm getting through to you, sir. It's completely understandable. Sometimes things need to be repeated for us to like for it to register in our heads. So that's fine. Big up yourself, Eddie Guna. Happy New Year to yourself. I hope you have a prosperous new year. Big up yourself, Brian Mighty. And also Chemo's in the comment section. Big up yourself, Chemo. If you're watching over on the Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club, do kindly go ahead and hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button if you are new to the platform. We're almost closed off on the show. I still do want to hear from some of you in the comment section. What policy would you introduce to the JFF? I'm saying a no bleaching policy, and you're probably wondering why are we asking about that? Well, it's to do with the New York Yankees. They made an announcement earlier on in the day where they have basically reversed on a policy that is dating back to over 4 decades, so 14, almost 5 decades, 49 years prior to today. They had a policy which basically meant that their players had to be clean shaven. And that policy is now no more. They can have a beard as long as it is well groomed. So what policies would you introduce to the JFF? I'm saying no bleaching. Okay. And before we close off on the show, obviously we actually spoke about a range of topics tonight. We spoke about Leon Bailey and the possibility of playing against Liverpool in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. That is going to be a tasty showdown. Hopefully it does happen for obvious reasons. We're all here rooting for our countrymen, our compatriots. It could happen. They do have a game against Club Brugge first, and they have to go ahead and do the damage. And you see there in front of you, potentially Liverpool could be facing off against Aston Villa in the quarterfinals of this year's Champions League. Also, again, touched on that Yankees policy. I think it did come as a shock to some of you who are listening at home. I also touched on Reece Nelson's injury. Possibly, is this a blessing in disguise? And of course, spoke about what policy would you introduce to the JFF, right? Another thing that we want to touch on before we close off on the show, is that a puppy?
Yeah, this is my boy. He don't leave me, man.
Name.
At my feet, that's my boy.
What's
I don't
his
want
name?
no dog in my house, but I tried to throw him out many times, but I couldn't. He don't leave me. He don't
Oh
leave
my,
me.
I love dogs. I was looking, I was just like, is that a puppy? You guys are mad.
Yeah,
I love dogs. Oh, bless him.
it's a dog, man. You know I'm Jamaican. I don't leave the house with dog, but this one is just something about it. You know, when I come back, my wife got a dog, and I tell you, I open the door and tell him to leave. He look up at me, and you know, every time my car come, he bark, come and greet me. He don't leave me, man. He don't leave me.
He's your
He don't
boy.
leave
Oh,
me.
bless him. Oh, that's really cute. Sorry, guys. I got like really distracted because I love dogs. Oh my God. So cute. Eddie Guna is saying no partying while in camp. I agree with you, Eddie.
Yes,
And
Mr. Guna. Good one. Good one, Mr. Guna.
I agree. I think no party while in camp is definitely something that we should. I mean, it should be easy for you not to party while in camp. Like you come to camp and you're partying, you're literally taking the mick. Like you're taking licks. You're really
Ask
taking
him
the
about
mick.
the bleaching. Ask him about your pet peeves. You're the bleaching.
Oh, I said
what-
no bleaching. I said no bleaching. I don't know what you guys have to say in the comment section, but I said no bleaching.
Mr. Guna, what do you think about the bleaching? No bleaching for the national team or the Premier League?
The Premier League is probably a little bit more. How many players will be playing in the Premier League if you say that no bleaching? I don't know, but sometimes I watch the Premier League and I'm like, what's going on here? Big up yourself, Drummy Madrista. We spoke about your club earlier on and your Champions League draw and your big showdown. Mandatory. What would be mandatory? Chemo. Chemo says mandatory, but I'm not really sure.
What are you talking about, Chemo?
I'm not really sure what that could be in relation to. I think you might have to add some meat to the bones of that one. So we discussed quite a lot, and of course, before we close off on the show, we do have to talk about some women's football. I got a bit of a gripe with this team at the moment. Because I kind of feel like we're not where we need to be with the team. I'm gonna jump the gun and say that they are. Let's check something. I'm gonna jump the gun and say that they are in camp. I don't know if there's anything out on Chemo saying mandatory no bleaching. It's not a
No,
big
okay, yeah.
big winner
I
says
agree
it's
with you
not
on that one.
me. So it seems like he doesn't mind whether they do or not. Chemo says no bleaching.
Eddie Buller, you mind the bleaching?
So that's like
Oh my God.
that's my thing. Someone else called to Mr. Lee and said no bleaching as well. So that's my thing. No bleaching for either the men's team or the women's team. I think a player can look at
Really,
how they
Brian?
want.
Yeah, look what Brian Mighton said.
So going back and talking about the Reggae Girlz. So the girls are in camp, as Brian Mighty says there at the bottom of the screen. It says the girls are in camp. I guess then it's a waiting game here, guys, in terms of when we get that first glance. I mean, I've not seen anything. Let me go over onto the JFF's page. Let's see if I can see anything.
Hey, Brian Mighton, since Bonnie Shaw is not there and the other girl, Hales is not there, who you looking to as a striker? Who do you use for your strike pair up front? Since there's no Bonnie Shaw, who do you go with up front? Brian Mighton. Go ahead, Crystal.
So I'll leave that to Brian to answer. So as I said, Brian here says the girls are in camp. You're looking at the screen in front of you with some exciting games to come. First up, we have oh my God, my brain, I can't think clearly. A 4 p.m. kickoff. Both games against Peru is a 4 p.m. kickoff for you in Jamaica, 9 p.m. kickoff for those of you who live in the UK. So we will be looking at both of those games. Does that mean I might have to come back tomorrow, Saturday? All depends on how my head is feeling, but definitely we will be looking at both of those games. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it? It's Friday night. We've not seen nothing on the Reggae Girl. I mean, there's no pictures, no video. Naturally, that's my pet peeve.
So Brad Madden said Kayla and Tiffany. That's Tiffany Cameron?
Yeah, Tiffany Cameron.
I thought she played kind of midfield. Well, yeah, she played both. Yeah, Kayla.
So,
go ahead.
It's talking about McKenna. So folks are setting themselves for organ damage. Okay, so DC is talking about the bleaching. Folks are setting themselves for organ damage over the long term. Bleaching or serious. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Again, it's not something that I support. I love my blackness, and I already spoke about why I think people do it, so you can like backtrack and look at that at your own time.
You see what Brian Mighton said? Care them look as long as they play with our NCO, they get the leather belt.
Brian Mighty, what's he saying?
Boot, Brian.
Oh, Eddie Greener says they had their first session in Peru. I saw the clips. I don't know where you're seeing these clips, Eddie. Are you able to enlighten me? Where did you see the clips? But I mean, I should be able to go over to the JFF's Instagram and see the clips for myself, right? Can't see anything on there unless I'm just not looking right. I don't know where Eddie saw clips. He says that he saw some training clips. I've not seen any. Brian says, yeah, I'm not too hung up about how they look as long as they play well. Belt, Kayla, McKenna, and Tiffany Cameron. Or maybe Sade, you know, I'm a massive fan of Sade. Sade Adamolakun, but she active. Says they posted a story. It's not good enough. I'm sorry, a story isn't good enough. A story is going to be deleted in 24 hours. Get that onto the page itself. They have a media person there, Trishana. She's very good at content creating. Yeah, we just need to get those content on the actual Instagram itself. I mean, had you not told me that they posted something in the story, I would not have known that they posted something. Okay. So again, if we could get those things out there on the main feed, that would be great. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think that, you know, they should, because good work, Brian Martin and Jason Guna, you know, for enlighten us with this. But I think that they should do more, so, you know, so the fans know what's going on, you know. I don't know where they get this from, but yeah, good work, Brian Martin. You know, when we done, never look on this when we done too. Cause we need to be, you know, for active and so on. Go on. Okay, that's what you're saying, Brian Martin. Yeah.
Oh, our friend, Mr. Beckford is there, Mr. Lee. He's saying not all might live long enough to feel any effects. Oh, he's talking about the bleaching. Neither do they care, cause it is so-called life they it's so-called life they enjoying. Well, it better than the U17s. They haven't even got in a squad posted on. I mean, I think better is subjective there, Mr. Brian. Does anyone find the JFF website to look too crowded? The website needs a makeover. Maybe that's your thing, Steve. Your policy will be to make over the JFF. I think we don't really do a good job at highlighting players outside of the senior men's team.
This girl that Brian Martin said, Sade, who's that girl?
Sade Adamolakun, she plays for Hearts. She's actually in good form. She's a wide player. She plays on the wing. Again, be interesting to see how she plays on the
Who are the four forwards you got there? Who are the forwards you got up there?
It'll be interesting to see how Sade plays for oh my god, why is his name eluding me?
I'm trying to see the forwards you got.
Because as I said before, I think she came into herself, making that transition from a girl to a woman, well under Vin Blaine, and then she kind of fell off under Lauren Donaldson. So yeah, be interesting to see how she gets on. I'm sorry, what was you saying?
No, I was trying to see the forwards, all the forward that's in the thing, so I could name them out to see what he's gonna do. But it's all. I'll take a look when I'm done.
No, but I love this comment here from Brian. I love this comment, and that's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, had Eddie not said that there was something in the JFF story, I would not have known that. You know, I would, because the first thing that you would do as a normal person is to check the main feed. The first thing I'm not going to check your story, and 24 hours would have passed and I would not have seen your story. So in my mind, you've not posted about the girls, right? So we need to kind of get better at doing that. It takes JFF too long to get what's needed to be done. Brighton says Sade plays for Heart. She's been scoring for fun all season, haven't gotten a lot of chances in recent times, but she has doing. I mean, the young lady has been handling herself well since going into professional football, and you know, massive fan of hers, and I'm hoping that it goes well with her and under her current coach, Hubert Busby. Because that's one thing I didn't like. I mean, to each their own. Lauren
About
isn't
what?
with Lauren Donaldson. Lauren isn't obligated to call up certain players. To each their own. If someone isn't his cup of tea, then fair enough. That's on him. But I definitely think that what she did, again, how she looked under Vin Blaine and what she was doing last season, I think she deserved to have gone to the World Cup. But that's just my opinion. Listening while I'm on my way home, says inner your community. Brian says, well, I know how football is in Jamaica going forward. Check stories first. LOL. I think he's putting me onto something there, Mr. Brian Mighty. All right. I think we'll probably reach the end of the show because there isn't really much to talk about with the Reggae Girlz because it's not like we have much to
Yeah.
work, fortunately, right?
But you know what though, Crystal, well, you touch on something though. If we have Bunny Shaw and we can find 3 other forwards, right? That could fight for that could give, you know what I'm saying? Have a good midfield and 4 good forwards. Because if we can get the ball to Bunny Shaw, we know she can finish, right? But this sounds like something good, man. This girl, Sade, and
I'm a massive fan of Sade. I don't know Brian. I can't speak for Brian, but I think we're probably singing from the same hymn sheet. Sade, again, she's a wide player. I do feel sorry for her because I think she earned the right to be treated better than how she was treated under the previous gaffer. And clearly, Busby's doing things different, and you know that's working in her favor. And long may it continue. Long may it continue. And as I said, she's playing in top tier of women's football up in Scotland for France. I need to stop saying up in Scotland because we're not all in the same country. But yeah, she does play for Hearts, and yeah, she's a good player. She's a good player to have in the team.
Brad Myers, the lawn was a strange fellow.
Yeah, he says Lone was a strange fellow. But I guess he has a method to his
Brian,
madness.
that's the best coach Jamaica ever had. This coach took it to a second round in a World Cup, okay? Stop hating Brian Martin.
See, this is I think this is a conversation for a different day. Definitely, this is a conversation, and I can't tell if you're being
chat. But yeah, Crystal, I'm looking for a good show. I'm looking for them to, and this is what I like what the JFF is doing, getting them good competition. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for that, so many teams from CONCACAF go to the last World Cup. These South American teams would not want to be playing us, right? But we knocked them out, and because it was 16 from CONCACAF went to the World Cup, so they don't have a choice but to play us. So this is what I want the JFF to do for the men's under 17, the female under 16. Stop playing Caribbean teams. Step outside the Caribbean. You can't use the Caribbean as a measuring stone. And so kudos to the JFF for getting these games. Kudos.
Can that be one of your policies, please?
Can
that be one of your policies, please?
Yeah, man. All right, we reached up on it. Oh, we passed 10 o'clock. Good God. Yeah, man.
So we're close off.
We're gonna run over Kranky real quick, right? We're gonna run over Kranky real quick, man, and give me a little strength, man.
You're gonna touch base.
All right.
Kranky in a bit. Lorne was a great coach, but he lacked control. Any coach that costs off their boss every chance won't. Me and you need to do a show, you know, Brian.
Brian, I differ with that. I differ. And that's the conversation that we can have offline. I'll do a show. Okay.
But we need to do a show because I feel like there's a lot that you haven't looked at. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Lauren is a coach qualified.
There's much more to that, Mr. Martin. Much more to that.
We need to do a show. I think the 3 of us need to do a show on Lauren.
Yeah, man.
But
before that question I go, I'm setting up something for Mr. Martin because he also does cricket, right? Yeah, and I'm trying to set up a big cricket panel, you know what I mean, for him. You know, some guys will be asking about cricket, and he have a knowledge of cricket, and you know, he actually love cricket. So yeah, man, Brian, big up yourself, man. Big up yourself, Brian.
All right, guys. So unfortunately, the show has come to an end. We've gone over 2 hours and 11 minutes. Not what we bargained for. I was surprised that we spoke so much about the Champions League because it's the one thing that I literally didn't prepare myself for. I knew what I wanted to say, but I wasn't prepared to go for as long as I did. I don't know about Mr. Lee, but he led on that one and I kindly followed. Well, Jeremy, the Reggae Girlz are hot in demand, as you know. You think our youth teams are in high demand. We struggle to get games with other teams outside the region. Again, if you're watching over on the Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club, kindly hit that like button and the subscribe button. Big up all the lads in the Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club. I'm not going to try and name everyone off the top of my head because I'm going to forget some names. But saying that to say we do need more girls to join the group. I'm not really sure why women are so just themselves when it comes to football. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I'm growing tired of asking like more women to come into the space. I don't really know what else to do, but it would be nice to have more women discussing football. It would be also nice to have more women join the group. But no pressure. Do that once you. I wouldn't say when you are comfortable, because get out of your comfort zone. I'm not gonna say do it when you're comfortable because you're never gonna do it. But yeah, just come on board. Brian says, okay, Crystal, we can make it happen for sure. I rate Lauren, but approach wouldn't get him too far. Yeah, we need to do a show on Lauren. Definitely need to talk about Lauren. And we're gonna bring.
I'm gonna be there with the freaking flag in the middle and the belt because I can see fireworks right now. Because me and I agree with a lot.
No, man.
I disagree. I'm not gonna agree. I'm not gonna have the flag and wave the flag and the belt at the same time.
Full love for Lauren. I think we all love Lauren Donaldson. No way that anyone in their rightful mind can disrespect him. And I'm sure myself and Brian, we share similar sentiments. Like we have a lot of love and appreciation for Lauren, you know, but still certain things
Best coach Jamaica ever have. What? Best Caribbean coach ever. He got to his second run of a World Cup. No other Caribbean coach ever done that. Big up, Lauren. All right, Crystal.
Going to
so we're going to go back Kranky, right? After we finish this up.
Like I said, I'm not
everybody. It was fun. It was fun. You know, we have to keep this going. I know it's not much of it, but we have to keep this thing going. So another show on. Yeah, man. You know, next week we're gonna come back with another show, Crystal. Just hit me up and let me know, and I'll be here. All right.
Yeah, as I said, I'm not going to disagree with you on that because we all love Lauren. So before I close off, if you're new to the show, I do hope you've hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to drag this channel to 5K subscribers. The Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club, we're trying to drag the channel to 1,000 subscribers. We're sitting on 774 at the moment, so we're almost home and dry. And then from there, we have a new target to meet when needs be. So pick up all the guys in the comment section. Pick up yourself, Mr. Lee, and also big up Kranky. We're gonna try and go over to Kranky. Before I do that, I need to go powder my nose. I also need to go and grab something to eat. I need to like stuff my face. I'm hungry. And I need to come back. So I'm gonna jump over to Kranky, turn off my camera, and then go and do what I need to do. I'm going to have to love you and leave you because I need to go powder my nose. I've been holding on for way too.
Do your thing, man. Pick up yourself, man.
Yes, I'll catch you in Mr. Lee. So yes, guys, thank you for rocking with me for over 2 hours and almost 16 minutes. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. As I said, we're going to be giving you more stuff on more conversation on Reggae Girlz versus Peru for those two fixtures. Their first of the two fixtures taking place this coming Sunday, 4 p.m. Jamaica time. Do not miss it. Do kindly go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button on both channels if you haven't done so already. And we'll be talking about other football. DC, I saw your comments about the U20 girls. I haven't forgotten about it, but I don't want to just scratch the surface. So we are going to be talking about them at a later date. We might move that into potentially Sunday show where we'll have a little bit more time. Okay. So I've seen your comment and I've not ignored it. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you're heading home from any personal activities or work related, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed. And you know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.